The bus jerked violently as it swerved through the pothole-ridden road, horns blaring from all directions. The air inside was hot and stuffy, the kind of heat that clung to your skin and made your school uniform feel like a punishment. Amanda stood in the crowded bus, her right hand gripping the rusty metal pole above her head, while her left clutched the strap of her school bag hanging behind her. She had just finished another long day at school, and her feet ached from standing in long queues under the sun. The conductor, a lanky man in a dirty yellow t-shirt and torn jeans, moved through the aisle collecting fares. When he reached the back, his tone suddenly changed. "Hey you, bring your money?" The voice was sharp. Everyone turned to see who he was talking to. It was a man probably in his late 40s, maybe early 50s. He sat slumped in his seat by the window, wearing clothes so faded and dusty they barely held their shape. His beard was thick and unkempt, his hair overgrown and scattered like someone who hadn't seen a mirror in weeks. The man didn't respond immediately. He looked up slowly, his lips dry and cracked. I don't have money," he said quietly. "What did you just say?" the conductor snapped. "Are you joking with me? You don't have money, and you enter bus? Are you mad?" The other passengers erupted with laughter. Some shook their heads, others clicked their tongues in disgust. "Beggars are the ones dominating this Lagos now," a woman near the front muttered. A girl chewing gum leaned over and said with a sneer, "See as he's, if shame was a person." "Come down now, immediately," the conductor barked, "before I throw you out like bag of rice." The man didn't resist. He looked down, embarrassed, his fingers fumbling with the edge of his shirt. The shame on his face was enough to silence even the noisiest road. Amanda's heart tightened. She remembered nights she cried herself to sleep, her stomach empty and her eyes fixed on the faded photo of her late parents. She remembered hawking oranges under the scorching sun, walking barefoot because her sandals had broken and she couldn't afford new ones. She remembered how none of her relatives stepped forward after her parents died in that tragic accident when she was just 14. Everyone had turned their backs. "We can't take her in," they said. "We have our own problems." She became her own mother and father. And now she stood in this overcrowded bus with just 1 naira left in her pocket, 2 old, folded 500 naira notes. One was meant to buy beans and Gary that evening. The other would cover bread and tea the next morning. She had planned it carefully. But now, watching this man being humiliated, Amanda's chest burned. Her father's voice came back to her like a whisper from heaven. "Kindness will never fail you, Amanda. Give, even if it's all you have. You don't know who God might be testing." She didn't overthink it. With a small but steady voice, she said, "It's okay. I'll pay for him." The bus fell silent. Every eye turned to Hertha, skinny girl in a school uniform, face sweaty and flushed, but eyes strong with resolve. The conductor scoffed. "You? You will be the one to pay for him?" "Yes," Amanda said, pulling one of the notes from her pocket. Her hand trembled slightly, not from fear but from hunger. She hadn't eaten all day, and she was giving away the money that would feed her. She gave the money to the man. The conductor grumbled, snatched the note from him, and walked off, muttering under his breath. Amanda looked down at the man, who was staring at her like he had never seen anything more strange or beautiful. He swallowed hard, his voice barely holding together. Thank you, Angel. You don't know what you've just done. Today marks the beginning of a positive change in your life. You will never forget this day." She gave a small nod, unsure what to say. His words felt strange, almost magical. The rest of the ride was quiet. The passengers avoided her eyes. Some looked thoughtful, others ashamed. 15 minutes later, Amanda signaled the conductor that she had reached her stop. As the bus rolled to a halt, she stepped down carefully and adjusted her backpack, ready to begin the long walk back to her one-room apartment at the edge of the city. But then she heard footsteps behind her. "Wait, Amanda, right?" the man said. She turned, surprised. "Yes, sir." He smiled gently, though his face still carried the marks of exhaustion and pain. "Please, allow me to say thank you again. Can I walk with you for a minute?" She nodded. As they walked side by side along the dusty road, the man asked her about her school, her family, and her life. Amanda spoke softly but truthfully how her parents died, how no one took her in, how she sold fruits and bread to survive, and how school was her only hope. The man listened carefully. Then he stopped walking. "My name is Adam Jerry." Amanda paused, confused. He smiled faintly. "Yes, that Adam Jerry." Her eyes widened. "The billionaire? The one that owns?" He nodded. "I dressed like this on purpose today. I do this sometimes, go out in disguise, looking like someone who has nothing. I do it to see how people treat others when they think no one is watching." Amanda froze. Adam placed a hand over his chest. "God brought you to me today. You gave your last without knowing who I was. And now, I'm going to give you everything you need to fulfill your destiny." Before Amanda could even speak, a black SUV turned the corner, followed by two more vehicles. Uniformed men in dark suits stepped out and saluted respectfully. Amanda's mouth dropped open. "This is your new beginning," Adam said, smiling. "Come with me." And just like that, the girl who gave her last money stepped into a world she never imagined. Amanda sat stiffly in the back seat of the SUV, her hands pressed against her school bag, eyes wide with disbelief. The air inside the vehicle was cool and scented with soft vanilla, a stark contrast to the noisy, sweat-drenched bus she had just left behind. Everything around her felt like a movie scene, only this time she wasn't watching from a window. She was in it. The soft hum of the engine, the polished leather seats, the smooth voice of the driver greeting, "Mr. Jerry." It was overwhelming. Beside her sat the same man who, just moments ago, looked like someone the world had forgotten. Now, he wore a clean designer shirt. His face was washed, his beard trimmed by someone from the convoy that pulled up earlier. Amanda could hardly breathe. She had watched Adam Jerry on TV during a school debate last year. He was listed as one of Nigeria's richest CEOs, owner of multiple companies, known for keeping a low profile and surprising the country with unexpected charitable acts. And now, he was sitting next to her. "I know this feels like a lot," Adam said softly, turning toward her. "But I meant it when I said your life is about to change." Amanda could barely nod. Her mind kept spinning back to that moment in the bus. How did helping one stranger lead to this? The car slowed as it reached the edges of Alimosho. The roads narrowed, and houses grew closer together. The streets were filled with children playing barefoot, women frying akara by the roadside, and men shouting over loudspeakers advertising herbal medicine. The SUV stood out like a diamond in a dust bowl. Amanda finally spoke. "Sir, my place is just a little ahead. It's not really a house, just a room." Adam looked out the window and nodded with understanding. "Don't worry, we'll wait outside." The convoy came to a halt near a low, crumbling building, with faded blue paint and iron doors hanging on rusty hinges. Amanda stepped out quietly, suddenly aware of how dirty her shoes looked. Children stopped playing and stared. A woman paused mid-sweep and whispered, "See that girl? Wetin she do? Way big man, dey follow am." Amanda hurried upstairs, her legs shaking. She unlocked the wooden door to her room. It creaked open. Inside, the space was barely enough to stretch her arms. A thin mattress lay in the corner. A small wooden table held her notebooks, a kerosene lantern, and a photo frame with her parents' smiling faces. A bucket stood under a leaking pipe. The walls were cracked, the floor dusty. Amanda stood still for a moment. She walked over to the frame, picked it up with both hands, and whispered, "Mummy, Daddy, your daughter didn't give up." She packed her notebooks, 2 faded dresses, her school ID card, and a pair of worn sandals into a small bag. She took one last look around the room, then closed the door behind her. When she returned to the SUV, Adam was already waiting outside. He noticed her bag and smiled. "Is that all?" Amanda nodded. "That's everything I own." Adam looked at her for a long moment. Then he said, "Not anymore." The ride to Banana Island was quiet at first. Amanda stared out the window, watching the city blur into highways, then into beautiful estates and polished streets she had only seen in magazines. "You said you want to be a doctor?" Adam asked after a while. Amanda blinked, pulling herself out of her thoughts. Yes, sir. I've always dreamed of it. My mum wanted me to help people. She used to say even one healed life can change the world. Adam smiled. You're already doing that. Starting with mine. Amanda looked at him, confused. You reminded me today that compassion still exists, even in the hardest corners of the world, and that saved me in a way I can't explain. As they approached Banana Island, the roads became smoother, the air seemed cleaner, and the houses looked more like palaces than homes. Guards in suits opened the mansion gate without question. Amanda's jaw dropped. The mansion before her had tall white walls, large glass windows, and a sweeping staircase that wrapped around the front. Lush gardens surrounded the house, with flowers she had only seen on TV. The gates closed behind them, shutting out the Lagos noise. The door opened before they even knocked. A graceful woman in her 40s stood at the entrance, her eyes warm and welcoming. She wore a flowing Ankara gown and a soft smile. You must be Amanda, she said gently. Amanda nodded. I'm Adana. Welcome, my dear. From today, this is your home. Amanda looked around, still unable to speak. Everything was different from the life she had just left behind. Adana stepped closer and embraced her tightly. Any child with a heart as pure as yours deserves the world. Come, let me show you around. Amanda followed her into the mansion, stunned by the tall ceilings, the crystal chandelier above the dining table, the grand piano in the living room, and the walls lined with books and paintings. Later, in her new room, a large, airy space with a king-sized bed, soft pink curtains, and her name already written in a gold plate on the door, Amanda sat on the edge of the bed and cried, not because she was scared, not because she missed the one-room apartment, but because for the first time in her life, she felt safe. As night fell, she stepped onto the balcony, looking out at the garden bathed in soft light. Adam joined her, sipping from a cup of tea. Tomorrow, he said, we'll begin your school transfer. You'll never have to hawk again, and I'll take care of your university until you wear that white coat. Amanda looked up at him. Why me? Adam smiled. Because you didn't ask, Amanda. You gave without expecting anything. That's the kind of heart the world needs more of. Amanda didn't know it yet, but her story was just beginning. From a dusty bus in Lagos to the gates of possibility, and far away, unknown to her, news of her act was already spreading through a viral video someone secretly took inside the bus, a video that would soon shake the nation. Morning light spilled into Amanda's new room, waking her gently. For a moment, she didn't move. She stared at the ceiling, wondering if everything that had happened the day before had been a dream. But the soft sheets beneath her, the polished floor, and the scent of lavender in the air told her this was real. Her life had truly changed. Adana knocked and entered with a warm smile, carrying a tray of breakfast eggs, yam, tea, and fruit. You need to eat well, my daughter, she said kindly. No more skipping meals. Amanda smiled back, still in awe. Thank you, Ma. Later that afternoon, as Amanda explored the mansion's library, a knock came at the main door. One of the security men entered, holding a tablet in his hand. Sir, he said to Adam, you might want to see this. Adam raised a brow. What is it? The guard handed him the tablet, and on the screen was a video from the bus. Someone had secretly filmed the entire incident. The shouting conductor, the mocking passengers, and Amanda's small but powerful voice saying, It's okay. I'll pay for him. The video had gone viral overnight. It was now trending on social media with captions like, Nigerian schoolgirl gives her last money to help homeless man. What happened next will shock you. Angel on the bus. Teen orphan's kindness melts hearts. Amanda saw it and gasped, covering her mouth. Who? Who filmed this? Adam smiled gently. Sometimes, God makes sure the world sees what matters. News outlets were already calling. People wanted to know more about the mystery girl in the video. Donations were pouring in. Amanda's name was on everyone's lips. But while the nation praised her, something else was stirring. In a quiet apartment across town, a man sat in the dark, his eyes fixed on Amanda's face on the screen. His lips curled into a bitter smile. "Amanda Okoye," he whispered. "The same girl we threw away like trash. And now she's a national treasure?" He picked up his phone. "I'm going to expose everything. They think she's pure? Wait till the world sees the truth." Back in Banana Island, Amanda was overwhelmed by the attention but remained grounded. Adam sat her down that evening. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded. "It's just strange. All I did was help someone." "That's the point," Adam said. "Sometimes, the smallest act becomes the biggest story. But remember, not everyone clapping is happy for you." Amanda's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Adam looked out the window, thoughtful. "Fame brings light, but it also attracts shadows." That night, Amanda lay in bed, her phone buzzing non-stop. Then a strange message popped up. "You don't deserve this life. You're not who you pretend to be." Amanda sat up, heart pounding. Amanda's hands trembled as she stared at the message glowing on her phone screen. "You don't deserve this life. You're not who you pretend to be." Her throat tightened. Who could have sent this? And why? She looked around her softly lit room, the elegant curtains swaying gently from the air conditioner, her stack of schoolbooks on the polished desk, and her framed photo with Adana and Adam on the night they officially called her their daughter. This home felt like a miracle. But now, it felt exposed. She quietly walked to the balcony and took a deep breath, the night breeze brushing against her face. Her mind raced. Was this someone from my old neighborhood? A classmate? Or someone angry I was helped? The next morning, during breakfast, Amanda decided to tell Adam. He listened silently as she showed him the message. His expression darkened. "You did nothing wrong, Amanda," he said firmly. "Kindness shines bright, but sadly, it also makes some people feel small." "Do you think they'll try to ruin me?" she asked, her voice small. Adam reached for her hand. "Let me handle it." By afternoon, his legal team was on alert. His head of security traced the message to an unregistered number, likely a burner phone. No clear name. But Adam suspected it was more than jealousy. Amanda tried to focus on school preparations, but the fear lingered. A few days later, her photo appeared on the cover of a blog. Rags to riches or carefully planned scam? Who is Amanda Okoye really? The article was cruel. It twisted her past, suggested she had manipulated her way into Adam Jerry's life, and hinted at a possible scheme. It included blurred pictures of her hawking on the streets, taken months before the bus incident. Amanda's heart broke as she read it. She locked herself in her room and cried. Adana found her hours later, curled on the floor. "They're trying to take it all away," Amanda whispered. "What if people believe them?" Adana sat beside her. "Let them talk. The truth always rises above the noise. You're not defined by their lies, Amanda. You're defined by your actions, your heart." Later that evening, Adam called a press conference. He stood before cameras with Amanda by his side. "She did not come to me begging," Adam said. "She gave her last to a stranger, not knowing who I was. I chose her, and I stand by her." The reporters asked questions. Amanda answered each one with honesty and grace. By the end, the room gave her a standing ovation. But as they drove home, Amanda's phone buzzed again. This time, the message was darker. "You embarrassed me in that bus. You made me look small. Now I'll destroy you, Amanda." Amanda's blood ran cold. She wasn't dealing with a random hater. She was dealing with someone who had been on that bus. Someone who saw everything and wanted revenge. Amanda's grip tightened around the phone as she read the message again. "You embarrassed me in that bus. You made me look small. Now I'll destroy you, Amanda." Her heart pounded. She could still hear the laughter from that day, how some girls had mocked the man she defended, how others rolled their eyes when she stepped in. She hadn't looked back at their faces, too focused on protecting someone in need, but someone had remembered her. And now, they were angry. She immediately ran to Adam's study and showed him the message. He read it carefully, then called in the head of security. "I want a full sweep," Adam said. "Go back to the footage from that day. Zoom in on the passengers. Get me everyone on that bus." Within 48 hours, Adam's team identified a few people known in particular stood out. A young man named Tolu, early 20s, previously expelled from university for online fraud. He was seated in the back of the bus that day, laughing loudly when the conductor mocked the man Amanda helped. He had filmed part of the event, but not to praise her. He was mocking the stranger and had posted a short clip online before deleting it. And now he was threatening her anonymously. "He's bitter," the head of security explained. "Your act of kindness went viral and made him invisible. He's been ranting in forums, saying Amanda stole attention and was pretending to be pure." Adam's face hardened. "Have him picked up, but do it legally." That evening, the police visited Tolu's house. They found dozens of fake accounts linked to the messages sent to Amanda, along with attempts to leak false stories to blogs. The next morning, Amanda woke to a trending news headline. "Suspect behind threats to Amanda Okoye, arrested cyberbully, confesses bitterness over viral bus video." The media rallied behind Amanda even more. People flooded her social pages with messages of love and support. Donations for orphan scholarships were launched in her name. Former classmates spoke up, calling her the kindest soul we ever knew. But Amanda stayed quiet. She sat with Adam and Adana in the garden later that afternoon, away from the noise. "Why do people get so angry when you do something good?" Amanda asked. Adam placed a hand on her shoulder. "Because light exposes what others try to hide. And some people are scared of what they see in that reflection." Amanda nodded slowly, then smiled. "Then I'll keep shining." The day Amanda resumed university, cameras lined the gates. But she walked in wearing her white shirt and black trousers, not for show, but for purpose. She didn't wave. She didn't pose. She walked like a girl who had once given away her last 500 naira and gained a lifetime of purpose. As she entered the medical school gates, she whispered to herself, "Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mummy. That little act of kindness really did change everything." If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.